Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of UnMasked, the podcast where we talk about depression, mental health, and all things about general better mental well-being. Uh, Today we have something different. I'm actually introducing my producer, who is now my co-host, Hannah. Say hi, Hannah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Hannah. Hannah is going to be co-hosting segments and interviews in the future, and yeah, she's definitely been we'll say, the backbone of this little operation we have going on here. Today we're going to talk about an important topic on the opening segment: microdosing and antidepressants, and all things medicinal that can potentially help or not help with depression and anxiety. And Elon Musk had some interesting things to say about it last week. I, for one, think that if it wasn't Elon Musk saying it, people wouldn't be so mad. But he was basically saying that Wellbutrin and other types of antidepressants are actually more harmful for mental health and mental disorders than what Adderall is. Which, I mean, personally, in my experience, I would lean towards that. I mean, I've tried bunch of whole different antidepressants, and really the only thing that's ever worked for me, helped me with my motivation, my focus, has been Adderall.
Have you tried microdosing at all?
I have not yet, but it's definitely something that I am intrigued about. I've done a lot of reading about it, and I know you're pretty well versed on the subject.
Well versed. Great. I don't know if I can say well versed. No, I've actually tried microdosing mushrooms as well. Cannabis is just an everyday thing that helps me cope with my reality. And also it just keeps me on cloud nine and happy all the time. So,
explain to us, what exactly is microdosing, in your opinion?
Microdosing, in my opinion, or at least how it's helped me, is anytime, or I guess rewind, you're only supposed to microdose every other day. And after a month, you're supposed to take a month off, and then after that month, do it all over again. Because if you do it every single day, then you can build up a tolerance to that, which means you're going to have to add more and more. Whereas if you do it every other day, then you're less likely to build up a higher tolerance to it, and then you'll notice more of a difference the longer you do it. So whenever I was doing it for the month straight, the first few days of me trying it, or I guess the first week, I noticed myself being more focused, but also going through a lot of emotions. So I felt not necessarily that my anxiety was really, really high, but I would be crying more often, just releasing all of that negative energy that I was holding on to, and kind of I was open to dealing with it a little bit more. So I want to say week 2, 3 is whenever I noticed a lot of productivity and just a lot more happiness coming into my life. And it could just very well be a mindset thing, but I mean, that helps open up your mind to bigger and better things.
So it's like more like it gives you clarity, kind of clears out all the junk that's in the back of your head.
Right. And then in terms of working, I just felt like I was working faster and just being not necessarily more proactive, but just the progress that I was making in my work was substantial compared to before.
So what about your sort of your day-to-day, because I know you struggle sometimes with anxiety and depression. Like, what is your day-to-day management change with that? How'd that feel?
That's something that I still struggle with every now and again. I was telling you the other day that I woke up in a panic attack, but it could just be Mercury retrograde. I don't know, spiritual shit that sounds very LA, but it affects my mood every single time. But once I was microdosing and in the depths of it, I have not done it for a while, and I probably should start again just to see where it takes me. I noticed that I wasn't waking up in panic attacks anymore or as much. And then eventually it just kind of faded. Once I stopped microdosing for a while, that comes back in waves, but it it did decrease a lot.
Interesting, because you described some of the results that were published by researchers in a university in London when they were doing clinical trials comparing a group that were on microdosing on magic mushrooms compared to a group that were on your standardized antidepressants.
Like Lexapro.
Yeah, like Lexapro, Zoloft. The benefits and the results that they were seeing from what do you call it? Psilocybin.
Psilocybin. Yes.
Yeah. See, that's my English again. The results that they were seeing were far more positive than what those that they were comparing to the test group that were on standard antidepressants. Yeah, so basically, there was a 6-week trial. There was I think it was about 60-ish adults where 40% of them had been taking medication to treat their depression before the study were actually weaned off it, and 30 participants were given 25 milligram doses of psilocybin 3 weeks apart, as well as 6 weeks of a daily placebo pill. Basically, they were saying that the results that they were seeing from those who were taking the psilocybin were mind-blowing. It's a very interesting and ethical debate, I guess, considering the taboo subject of, using what was once, considered illegal drugs to, treat, common mental health disorders.
Well, right. And then you look at some places like Washington, that it's now legal to have magic mushrooms.
But then you have the counter argument. So you always have the traditional naysayers from the medical community that are pointing out the limitations of the study, where they were saying things like the control group people who received no treatment were 66% of men, even though women in the real world are more likely to experience depression, which is again one weird kind of debate, because I don't think that there's a statistical category that says men or women experience depression more, and what actually classifies as depression,
Right. I mean, everybody experiences it, so I don't think that we can classify it between one group or the other. I think it's an everybody thing, and not everybody can benefit from it, because everybody reacts differently to different things. So what works for me may not work for somebody else. However, studies do show that psychedelic mushrooms and psilocybin microdosing has a better effect on you a lot of the time than antidepressants.
Yeah, I mean, that's another interesting point, is everybody is different. And they even say that in the antidepressant ads when you see them on TV. They'll have 5 seconds of, take Wellbutrin, it's great for depression. And then they'll have that 2-minute spiel of all the side effects, which include, hey, you actually might get more depressed and commit suicide.
That's been the argument. And that's why researchers have been studying psilocybin mushrooms and the benefits of psychedelics, or at least psilocybin, for years. But it's just coming to the surface now because people are realizing the benefits that it has. That's a really good point. And there was another small clinical trial that was published last November as well that found that more than 70% of participants that were in this other clinical program reported that their depression had eased within a week of taking, comparable doses of psilocybin compared to their previous antidepressants. Again, everybody's different, and I'm not definitely advocating for one over the other. I mean, I'm definitely not a medical expert. Neither of us are, to be totally fair.
Don't take my advice on anything.
I'm just telling you what worked for me, my guy.
The benefits of microdosing definitely intrigue me. Particularly because, even though I'm on Adderall, and I take that, 4 or 5 times a week, depending on what my work schedule is, I don't like taking it because I don't like the side effects it has on my body.
But do you ever feel more productive whenever you're on Adderall?
Depends on the day. So if I am taking it Monday through Wednesday, productive as fuck. Right? By the time I get to Thursday and Friday, I have my usual dose, and I feel like it's hit and miss. Some days I'm let's get out there and get it. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling happy. And other days I'll take it, I'll drink a gallon of coffee, and I still won't be able to get out of bed.
Do you think it's because you take it every day?
I try not to take it every day purely for that reason. I don't take it on weekends. I try not to take it on Fridays because generally Fridays are my slow day, with my clients. The Monday through Wednesday is usually pretty good, but it's the Thursday where it's just kind of like, is it working or is it not?
The only reason I ask that is because, I mean, in terms of microdosing specifically, and they say to only do it every other day, I think one of the problems with, or I mean, this could be controversial, I'm not 100% sure, but I think one of the problems with antidepressants is the fact that people are prescribed these medications and they're supposed to take them every single day. So don't you think that that would build up a tolerance? And then this is why people have to continue going back and getting higher dosages.
I actually 100% agree with that because, I mean, the human body, I mean, even though everybody is different, the one thing the human body does is actually adapt to things you put in it. It does. You do create tolerances to things like caffeine, for instance. I drink more coffee than any human possibly should drink, but it only gets me to normal. I don't like drink coffee and go, all right, I'm energized, let's go. Like I drink it and I'm like, okay, I'm somewhat functional now. I can get on with my day.
Yeah.
And I know it's because I have a lot of it. My body's built up a tolerance to it. But it's the same with, drug addicts. Like drug addicts will, start with I can go out and I can be recreational, have, a little bit of cocaine or whatever, and they'll be fine. But then it's like, as they keep doing more and more of it, they need more and more to actually get that high again.
Right.
So, and I think the same thing with antidepressants. Like, I think people shouldn't be on them long term. And I'm not a medical expert by all means, but it's just common sense. Like, your body builds up a tolerance. So over a period of time, how effective is that drug? By all means, we are not advocating for people to go out and try shrooms.
No. Like,
but do your research. Do your research.
Speak to a medical professional, please. Don't listen to us. Just listen to our experiences.
No, yeah, we're just here to raise the topic of conversation, just so we can actually get alternative, I guess, approaches out there to dealing with depression. I mean, it works for some people and it doesn't work for some people.
And hey, if you're a medical professional out there and you have different opinions, please send them in. Because I'm curious. I want to know. I want to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I want to see the arguments on both sides.
Right.
For all of you out there that have tried microdosing and have some good experience with it, like, please DM us. I really want to know. I really want to talk about it.
We both do. Shoot us a DM. We're here. We'll read them. I will probably read them and then send them to Brody. But either way, both of us will read them. So send them in. We would love to hear your thoughts, and then maybe we'll do another episode on this and chat about it more with your comments and concerns.